everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We're really excited to have you here today to learn all about public link forms. My name is Liza. I'm part of the marketing team, and I'll be here today assisting Berit, Customer Success Manager and iFormBuilder Trainer, who's going to take over. So for those who are new to our webinars, this webinar will be recorded, and before the end of the week, you'll receive an email from us with all the resources. You'll get the recording, the slides, and any other information that we share here today.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. My name is Berit Weymers. I'm really excited to go through this content with you. On today's agenda, we have what are web forms and public links. I know you signed up for a public link session, but it's always helpful to discuss web forms as well because they do go hand in hand. We're also going to talk through how to enable public links, and lastly, how to do more with the public links. So to start, what are web forms and public links? So in here, I have two examples, or really we're going to talk through both sides of this. So web forms and public links allow for data collection via a web browser. Now you can use web forms and public links on your mobile devices, but we do suggest testing around with it first. And we also suggest using your computer or laptop or a bigger screen because it does give a better user experience. So when it comes to web forms and public links, web forms do require an iFormBuilder username. So you do have that security in that sense where they have to be able to log into iFormBuilder to access the web form. Web forms also allow for record assignment. So if you're used to record assignment on the mobile devices where maybe a end user starts filling out the form and then assigns that record to the supervisor to sign off, you can do that with web forms as well. So instead of downloading the assignment to your device, you would just log into your iFormBuilder account, go to collect under the data view or data tab, and then you'd be able to access any records that were assigned to you and fill those out. Web forms also allow you to edit subform records within a parent form. So if you've ever gone through the process where you try to edit some of your form data and you end up having to open up each subform form to then edit that data, it can be a little bit cumbersome and it's not that clean of an experience. So if you do hope to edit subform records, the easiest and best way to do that, I think, is to actually assign that record to your username and then go under the Collect menu option under the Data tab and see the assigned record, edit it all in there, and then have it sync up to the cloud again. Now, today's main focus will be on the public links. So let's talk about that. Public links do not require an iFormBuilder username, but they can be configured for password protection. So if you are worried about the security of the form that you have, you can make it so that there is a password in there and then send that to your users so that they are using that password and can actually collect using that public link. Within your iFormBuilder account, you actually have 100 free monthly submissions, and you do have the option to purchase more. So as you start building out projects and making use of these public links, you'll see that 100 free may be enough for you, or you might see that, hey, we are actually in this point in our data collection where we need more. And if you need more, just contact your customer success manager and they'll talk through how to get more and what the cost is. When it comes to your public links and web forms, the configuration is actually done within iFormBuilder. And I'll show you that a little bit later when we go through our demo. And lastly, when it comes to public links, I did mention you have 100 free monthly submissions. And if you're looking to keep an eye on that number and see if you get close to that, that's where you go and log in as a company admin, go to company info, and in the info section, you'll see a spot that says analytics. Once you're in analytics, you'll scroll to the bottom and you'll be able to see your monthly usage. And I'll be happy to show you that if we have enough time in just a little bit. Oops. So our next topic here is how do we enable these public links? So you do have to be a server admin. So to be a server admin, you also need to have a dedicated database. So a dedicated database has its own URL, which usually starts with its company name. The one I'm going to be using today is training.iformbuilder.com, and I am a server admin, so that highest level of permission in there. Once I'm logged in as a server admin, I'm able to go under the menu option that says server info. Once in server info, I see a box that says public links. This is where you go to activate this public link so they're accessible in the other profiles that you have within your dedicated database. Let's say you have 10 different profiles in your dedicated database. And again, each profile is its own separate entity. So it has its own forms, its own users, and its own data. So if you're logged in as a server admin and you have 10 different profiles, you may not want all 10 profiles to have access to public links. So what you're able to do is you go under company admin, you're still logged in as server admin, you're managing a specific profile, and then you go under company info. And once you scroll down to company info, you're going to see a services section. This is where you have to go in and put in the limit of how many public link submissions can happen within a month for that profile. So again, if you only want some of your profiles to have access to public links, then you only need to update this number for the ones that you want to have access to it. How do we do more with our public links? So again, public links do allow you to create a form that you would basically send out to your users on their devices, except now you can do more where you have this link that you're able to just send out to anyone so that they can collect the data. What's really nice is that no matter if they're collecting data within the iForm app and have a iFormBuilder username for a particular form, or they're making use of public links, all the data goes to one location. And so it's really helpful that way so that you could have your users as well as potential users have the same form available to them. So just some examples here on how to do more. You can use it internally as a way to request access to different services. And again, you could have this form where it's available in the iForm app, or just send out a link to everyone that says, hey, just fill this out. And then you could take that information and go further with it. You can place the link on your website to capture information from prospective clients and customers. So one example that is somewhat similar to what I have here is we have a customer who is always trying to get more of their users to make use of iFormBuilder. And they do that by using a public link and saying, hey, would you like to, first they ask, would you like to use iFormBuilder? And if they say yes, then they also have questions in that same public link that asks what kind of forms are you going to want to have access to? And once that potential user fills out that information, then a iFormBuilder account is automatically made for them, and it automatically puts in the form package that contains the forms that they requested via this link. So it can be extremely helpful, and you can automate the processes making use of the iFormBuilder API. Another option here is to pre-populate form fields of a public link form and then send it to your user. And that's the example that we're going to go through today. I do have a little note here at the bottom, just a reminder that public links, they do work best on the computer and making use of Firefox and Google Chrome. So when it comes to deploying your projects, make sure you test on those. So let me jump out of the slides here, and we're going to go into my dedicated database training.iformbuilder.com, and just bear with me here. Make this a little bit bigger. And let me come over here. The first thing I wanted to show you is right now I am logged in as a company admin. And if I go under company info and I scroll down, you'll notice I don't see anywhere in here where it has information on how many submissions I can perform for public links in this particular account. Again, I wanted to reiterate that is only available if you're logged in as a server admin. So you do have to have server admin access to be able to enable the public link amount. Now the next part I wanted to go under here is also under company, where we have our usage analytics. So if you haven't seen this page before, you'll notice at the top we do have transaction info. So this is monthly device transactions as well as our monthly API calls. But at the bottom, this is where we have our public link submissions. So you're able to come in, you're able to select a start month, end month, and by default, if you're a company admin, it'll only show you the profile that you're logged in as. But you can scroll through and see how many submissions you've had for that particular month. So this is extremely helpful as you get started because you're able to see how close you're getting to that 100 limit that your account has. Now the next thing I want us to go into is I want us to actually talk through this process of creating a public link. So when you go into your Form Builder home screen, you'll notice we have these actions listed on our right-hand side. So we have our copy, we have our edit properties, delete, our post data endpoint, and then the last one, which we want to talk about now, is the ability to create a public or private link. So if you were to click on this in your account and you receive a message, an error message saying that you don't have any public links assigned to this profile, that's again when you need to talk to your server admin, or if you're the server admin, you would go in and make that value higher under company info. To quickly create a link, all you have to do is click on the form, and this first option here that says access with login, this is making use of our web forms. So the user, you would just copy this link, and any user that you send this to would have to log into their iFormBuilder account, and then they would be able to collect data on their computer. Now what we're going to do today is our public link. This is where you're able to set a password, and I'll just do test right now. Oh, testing. And then I'll generate my link. All I have to do is copy this link, put it in the URL, and I'm brought to my web form. I have to type in my password. And then once I hit submit, it actually brings up that form, and I'm able to start collecting data using this public link. Now the demo that I want to go through with you today is doing more than just what I have here, where I was able to create the public link and then launch it. I have a form that I'll share with you later, and let me jump back here. And this form has been designed so that it is designed to be used from web forms, but it's also designed so it can be used on mobile devices. So you'll notice up top here I have the ability to scan form details. So that would make use of a barcode, and in this example it's a QR code, And after you scan that QR code, it would use the link that you've created using the public link, and then it would just launch the form. So it's really cool in that way, where you're just able to launch this form through a barcode scan. So an example would be like here, I have, just jumping here, I have my QR code that I generated with a free QR code generator, and it would launch my public link form, which is actually this URL. And I'll show you that in a little bit more details. So that workflow is only available if you are making use of a mobile device. Now, as I mentioned before, we do recommend using like Google Chrome or Firefox. So you do want to keep that in mind as you are collecting the data. Now, let's go through the steps that you have to perform to do more. So the first step here is to create a form. We can check that off. I've already created the form for us. The next is to create that public link. So just like what we saw before, where we had this little icon on the form's home screen, you can click it here and access those same options. In this case, I've already created this public link, and I'm going to copy this link here and send this to you so that you can see what it looks like. So this is how the public link is defaulted. This is what it looks like. When you open up this link, none of the information has been populated. It's just a blank form. If you open up this link on a web browser, you'll notice that that Manatee Works element, that barcode scanning element, isn't going to work at the top of the form because you can't do Manatee Works or you can't do any sort of scanning within the web browser. So that was our first step. Second step, we created that public link. Now, if you wanted to have it password protected, of course, you could do that as well. Now, what we want to do is we actually want to edit that public link to point to an element in our form. So I've already done this here for you, but I want to talk this through as we look at this example. So right here, this top part is exactly what we see in step 2. So it's that public link. Now what I've done after it is I've added an ampersand, and then I point to an element within my form, which in this case, the data column name is called street address of property, and then I have it equal to this result. So this is what I want to show up if the user is making use of this URL. So let me go ahead and share this one. If everyone clicks on that now, or copies all that text here and then pastes it in their web browser, make sure you get the Mickey Mouse part. Once it's done loading, you'll see that the street address of the property now says Mickey Mouse Lane. And this is a read-only element, so the user actually can't edit this information, but it does show them more information. Now, our next option here is, well, of course, share that URL with other people, but our next option is to create a barcode. So what we have here is I've created this barcode, and I'll put this in the chat as well. But this barcode, you'll notice, is not only does it have the street address of the property, which is the Mickey Mouse Lane, but I also wanted to populate the element in my form called name of property and the type of building. So before I talk through the QR code, I want you to just take a look at how this populates this information within a web form. So I'm putting this in the chat. Again, go ahead and copy all of that text and paste it in your web browser. If you don't have your web browser available or something's you're having trouble accessing that link, I am going to show it to you here. So you'll notice that we have our street address of properties being populated. We have our name of the property. If we go to the type of the building, hospital's already selected. So that's 3 fields that we don't have to ask the user to fill in because we're pre-populating it for them. And the last step here that I wanted to show you, and let me bring up my device, is how you can scan that barcode using the camera on your device to then scan the barcode and then have the public link show up on your device. Oops, wrong button. Hold on, bear with me here. Okay, and while this is loading, are there any questions, Liza?
Hi, Berit. Looks like we don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, so here is my device. I have it up on the screen. What I'm going to do here is just try to scan that barcode, and it opens up that barcode on my device, and it's going to populate those form fields as well. So by doing this, I'm allowing the user to have the option on how they access their web forms, whether it's through a QR code or whether it's through that URL, but I'm having those fields automatically being populated. So before I let you go, we do have a few announcements. Zerion Academy, we do have some asynchronous courses available. If you've never logged into Zerion Academy, I definitely suggest that you do. Sign up for a username. It's all free. The asynchronous courses go through company admin management, form management, data management, user management, and just really dive into how to make use of the platform. There's lots of videos in it, so it allows you to, again, go step by step. We also have 2 upcoming webinars. We have our October 12th one, which is just next week. It's how to use semantic references. So what we refer to as SPT, which is self, parent, top. This is a great way to start using one of our latest features from iFormBuilder and update some of your smart control statements to make use of these as well. Then on December 13th, we have Understanding iForm Data Structures as JSON. So if you are someone who's more on the development side and you're looking at how the data is configured, I highly suggest checking out that December 13th session. Lastly, in this, we have all the steps on how to gain access to those asynchronous courses. So it is a learning plan. You have access to all 5 of these courses available. And what's really nice is if you have new coworkers, they can have access to this as well. Anyone can have access. I did learn yesterday that when someone was trying to follow the steps, they had to actually recopy this link, and then it allowed them to have access. So just keep that in mind, and we'll make sure we send this link along as well. And with that, I just want to thank Liza, and I want to thank all of you for joining today's session. Those of you who are ready to get started making use of public links, I'm really excited for you. There's so much more that can be done with them that I don't even know about yet. I'm still learning from other customers on how they've manipulated public links to be used in their projects. So if you're wanting to do something cool that we didn't mention, definitely reach out to your customer success manager. And for those of you who said it's not quite ready for your project yet, thank you for joining today's session, and hopefully in the future you will find a need, since it is a part of the platform that you already have access to. And with that, have a great day.